New at midday, about 1,500 Americans caught in the conflict in Israel are now safely on their way home. Thanks in part to Florida officials. A cruise ship first took the group to Cyprus, where they boarded flights to Tampa, coordinated with help from Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. One of the passengers described sheltering from missiles during her trip. From Tampa, travelers will head to their hometowns as Iran and Israel exchange fire. President Donald Trump is weighing his options on whether the U.S. will get directly involved in this conflict. And as lawmakers battle over restricting his authority to make that decision, the GOP is split over whether going to war is the right move. NBC's Alice Barr has more from Washington.
This morning, Israel assessing damage from a new round of Iranian airstrikes hitting a major hospital in the south and areas around Tel Aviv. That after Israel struck another target in the Iranian nuclear program that it's seeking to destroy, as President Trump weighs whether the U.S. military will join that mission.
I like to make the final decision 1 second before it's due, because things change. Especially with war.
The president meeting again with his national security advisors, considering whether to launch U.S. strikes on Iran, despite growing threats of retaliation.
I may do it, I may not do it.
Israeli strikes have probably set Iran's nuclear program back by a few months already, according to two sources with knowledge of the matter. But one critical underground facility would likely require an American bunker-busting bomb. President Trump suggesting he'd given Iran an ultimatum and that the path is narrowing to a diplomatic deal that many on Capitol Hill want.
We don't need to escalate in Iran. That doesn't make anyone in the Middle East safer, and it certainly doesn't make the United States any safer.
Growing division among Republicans, with some backing military intervention.
Either you want them to have a nuclear weapon or you don't. And if you don't, if diplomacy fails, you use force.
Others, like Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, arguing against another Middle East entanglement.
I don't want to get involved either, but I've been saying for 20 years, maybe longer, that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
How close Iran may be to developing a nuclear weapon remains an open and pressing question. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
This is a story that so many people are watching closely. President Trump said he thinks Iran was a few weeks away from having a nuclear weapon, a projection at odds with the U.S. intelligence community.